Just a second. 2 years ago, little Cash Hyde was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. He endured bouts of chemo that made him sick, made him ill. He didn't eat for 40 days and was vomiting severely. As his parents watched helplessly, as many have, they made a crucial decision. They asked doctors to take Cash off his anti-nausea and his pain medication and secretly gave him marijuana oil, cannabis oil made from marijuana. What they did was illegal. In addition, they didn't tell his doctors. Today, 3-year-old Cash is in remission and doing well. Joining me to discuss this, Dr. Stuart Gitlow, president of the American Society of Addiction Medicine. Also, criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh. I brought Bob Forrest back with me in case we continue to have Skype issues because I have Cash's parents, Mike and Callie Hyde, on Skype. Mike, how is Cash doing these days? How's he doing? There you are.
Well, he's sitting right here on my room.
Oh, it's not sounding very good, though, I must admit. Let me, you guys listen to what the conversation we're going to have, and I'll let you ring in. I may have to put one of you on the phone. Again, live television. I love it. I hope everyone else does. But, Dr. Gitlow, let me go to you. What issues do you have with this family feeling desperate, doing what they felt they had to do to create a quality of life intervention on behalf of their child?
Well, Drew, thank you very much for having me tonight. The issues here come down to what does a family do when their son has a critical illness and they feel as if they have no alternatives left? How are they going to deal with that and cope with that? The issue, as they start to use something like marijuana, is the question of to what lengths do we go to protect our children? Do we go to the length of picking a Schedule I controlled substance that has no known medical qualities to it? The analogy
let me
I think
interrupt
of
you and just say, I mean, if it's just for quality of life, and we're using Schedule I drugs like opiates, like painkillers, what's wrong with this Schedule I drug if it helps somebody feel better?
Well, we're not talking about quality of life here. We're talking about trying to save a 2 or 3-year-old. This is an issue where the goal would be for him to have a normal life and a normal length life.
Let me ask the parents what they were thinking when they went ahead and did this. Guys, was it just because you got tired of seeing him suffer and you wanted him to feel better? I'm going to ask Dad. He's got the phone.
I watched Cash's heart stop several times after doctors gave him Phenergan and fentanyl. I watched my son suffer for over 40 days, starving to death, and I looked at the cocktails they're giving these kids. My mother said before, these doctors are killing our youth with poison. The medications that he will refer our kids to are highly toxic, addictive, and deadly. Medical cannabis, or cannabis, whatever you want to call it, is the safest, most therapeutic medicine known to man, and that comes from
guys, the connection here is barely discernible. Let me keep seeing if they technically can help with that, because I do want to talk to your wife in a second. My understanding is she's an RN, and I have a question. Let me ask to you, Mark. My issue with this, more than anything else, Mark Eiglarsh, is we have an RN. She has a license. She understands how hospitals operate. She's found a medication that helped her, let's say, or helped her sister. Made me feel good. And she walks in the hospital and just gives it to somebody because it worked for them? Is that how hospitals should operate, or do you share my concerns, Mark?
Yeah, this is a tough one. First of all, even they know, and they've admitted publicly, that what they're doing is unlawful. No question they're violating federal law. But let me just say this. If we're talking about my child, and I was told 6 to 7 times, we're going to stop doing this because there's nothing more that we can do to save him, I would try whatever it took to get even an hour more with him. Now, it turned out it worked. And the California Medical Association supports, to some extent, this concept of giving THC, in that in one study, 25 to 30% of mice rejected the cancer after they had been injected with THC. So while, again, we're talking about mice and it hasn't been, widespread approval amongst the medical association, there is an indication that it might work.
Dr. Gitlow, let me go back to you. Let's say it is a quality of life issue and it is a terminal case. Do you share my concerns? It's not, again, so much about making the child comfortable. It's that somebody brings in a substance from the outside while kids under care. The doctors don't know. I mean, who knows how the care could go bad if people just start administering their own drugs, illicit or illicit, to somebody in a hospital? Isn't that a concern?
Well, let's go back for a second. I don't think that this demonstrates that the drug worked. What it demonstrates is that Cash got better at about the same time that he was administered marijuana. So this is an experiment with one person being tested. And basically what we have is an individual who was given multiple other types of treatment who got better at about the same time that he was given the marijuana. That doesn't mean the marijuana led to his improvement. It means he got better at about the same time.
Right. And Mike, you're on the phone, I think, with me now.
Yeah.
Can you try your phone line? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. What I'd like to say to that guy is I pulled Cashy off of Ativan, Zofran, methadone, morphine, oxycodone, oxycontin, ketamine, and Dilaudid in a 2-week period with medical cannabis. After he hadn't eaten for over 40 days, I started feeding him
Mike,
again.
maybe that alone is what made him better. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Exactly.
maybe just getting him off all that stuff.
If I wouldn't have made those doctors wean him off those drugs, he would have died.
Okay, let me talk to your wife for a second.
These doctors are killing our children. That is the difference we're talking about.
Let me talk to Callie.
Who would give a kid morphine?
Let me talk to Callie. I get you. Let me talk to Callie for a second. And listen, they've got a child who's has an advanced cancer on life support. They're trying to make him comfortable. They're not trying to kill anybody. Callie, let me talk to you. You're an RN, right?
Yeah, this is Callie.
Callie. Okay, Kelly, do you understand my concerns about people coming into the hospital and just administering substances, illicit or illicit, without the team's involvement? You know what I mean? If you worked in hospitals, it can really make things unravel if the team is not there taking care of the patient.
I do understand the controversy with, coming in and giving our son, cannabis, but, he was laying there dying, shaking, shivering. His skin was peeling. He was vomiting every 2 hours. He was vomiting. He couldn't.
Let me ask the question, Kelly. I get it. Let me ask the question a different way. Let's say you had medication XYZ and it's legal, and you describe that same scene to us. You just bring that in from the outside and give it because you wanted your child better no matter what. You go to any length, even if it means upsetting how a hospital functions. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Hold on one second. Bob, you've been sitting here listening to this. Do you have any take on this?
They're killing our children.
Hold on.
The most therapeutic.
We weren't there. Listen, people are trying to do their job and the child is better because of proton beam and chemotherapy. We know that too because that's what they could expect. Yes, and all this other stuff made him sick, it sounds like. Bob, your point.
Well, the thing is, I love hearing him laugh in the background, and he's alive,
he's
and
great.
it's a baby, and it's wonderful. And to politicize this is what's really being done, and it's, I'm just happy he's alive. I, too, agree with the father that said, the list of drugs that he's on compared to medical marijuana.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay.